we're back. Welcome to the Naked Dialogue podcast. This is episode 3.
It's called harmonizing. Take notes.
I'm with Sheli Cohen and Natalie Bernstein.
Shalom.
Shalom, me homies.
I'm so lazy. I've never done a podcast intro before.
Have you never been on a podcast?
I just listened to it.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Naked Dialogue.
That was soothing. This grinder is trash. Just like men.
Just like a man.
Trash man.
Sex, baby. Let's talk about you. Oh, we can talk about dating in Israel as non-Israelis.
International dating people.
So
Listen, it's tough and there are a lot of fucking catfish out there.
Yeah, but also like, it's really weird. Like, I feel like when you meet somebody and they just kind of like, when you're watching like rom-coms, you know, like romantic comedies growing up, and you always dream about meeting like international people and falling in love and whatever.
Yes.
And it's so fucking bullshit. So fucking bullshit, because meeting somebody from a different culture, and like, first of all, you have the language difference.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then there's the accent, which is really hard to understand. It takes a really long time to like understand somebody's accent and like know what they're actually trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially Middle Eastern accents.
Yeah,
like,
especially that. And like the cultural differences make it like, some of the things that they do are so normal and you think it's so weird, and you have to like talk to yourself and remind yourself, okay, where I come from, it's not the blueprint, it's not the original. Like,
What's the time where that's happened to you? Where you've seen
just like for example, I was seeing this Russian guy, and like when I went to go hang out with him and his friends, like they were all just super fucked up, but like not like you know, like when Americans get fucked up, it's like they're listening to pop music, everybody's singing along, there's beer pong, there's some drinking game going on, but like everybody's just kind of like inside or outside talking in their own little groups, or just like not saying anything at all and just like dancing to trance music. And like, which is like, it's like walking into a party and like what you expect as a party, and then all of a sudden it's just like, it just looks like everybody's on like absolutely on like fucked up on drugs. It's intimidating. And then you just kind of like, you have to like remind yourself that like, okay, well, like I have to like adapt. I have to like situate myself into the situation and like kind of like separate like what you know from your other culture, and just kind of like go with the flow with new things. Like try, and like also like, I don't know, like I think that's why like Americans are so disliked around the world, because whenever they go other places, they don't try to indulge themselves in the culture. They bring their own culture to, but not like the good type. It's like it's like oil and water, you know? When you go somewhere, you have to be respectful. You can't just you can't just be a dickhead everywhere. You can't just be like, well, I'm from a different country, so I'm gonna do what I fucking want to do, you know?
True. I feel like, you know, one of the things you want to do in an international school is try to understand others. So how are you going to do it if you're going to impose your own beliefs or whatever on the other people?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I find interesting is like interacting with all the different kind of people we have here. Like Tel Aviv is a crazy city.
It really is. And you run into, oh my god, when you meet somebody, you run into them again like so many fucking times.
Yeah, and everyone knows everyone.
There's some connection, like it's the Jewish connection, man. Like it really, I didn't believe it when I was living in Kansas, because there's no Jewish people. I mean, but all Jewish people know each other in Kansas because there's so few of them. But like here, even though like there's so many Jewish people, there's somehow, some way, with the one person you know will know somebody that knows this person, or like that you have in common, you know? And and you'll just be like talking in a conversation, we'll be like, oh wait, I know that person. Do they own this place? Do they work at this place? You know? And it happens all the time.
I think that's true. I think like within industries, everyone knows each other. And also I say this a lot, where Tel Aviv, at least from my experience, compared to New York City, it's very interpersonal. Like people are friendly. They want to get to know you. Also, if you're, I found If you're new here, also if you're Jewish, people are very like welcoming, come to Shabbat dinner. Even if you're not Jewish, they'll invite you. But yeah, definitely find that. It is a welcoming city. I mean, from getting here, I was never like, whoa, like this is going to be really hard for me to figure out how to exist here.
I feel like there's something that exists in the Jewish culture that's like, I don't know, there's kind of like this pass down of like helping each other out. Like no matter where you're from, no matter what background you have, if you're Jewish, like, and like there will be other Jewish people that want to help you no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like
for
no other reason, just because you're Jewish, you know?
Could be tribalism, could be the Holocaust.
But I mean, like,
a lot of us.
I don't know, like, I don't feel like that, you know, like, that doesn't really exist in the United States. For example, I don't know, here, like, Israelis help Israelis out. Like, that's, even they say that, you know, like, Israelis help Israelis out. You don't hear Americans, you know, like, it's such an individualistic culture. And it's also really hard when you move here to get used to asking for help. That's something that I'm really not used to do, like very not used to doing.
I get you.
I could see how if you're, especially when you're coming to a place that's so different, how it's hard. And also just navigating very basic systems, navigating banking systems, the medical system, which I need to utilize a lot. Everything's in Hebrew. I mean, at the same time, like, you should learn the native language. But there are some things that are definitely really hard where we're like scrambling to find someone that speaks Hebrew or one of our Israeli friends that can help us. Yeah.
Everything here is in Hebrew, and the banking system is like the worst because like you have to wait for so long to get anything done. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like because life is so difficult sometimes here, makes it interesting.
Yeah, true.
Like it keeps you on your toes. Living in the States, everything you have at your fingertips, anything you want. You know, you order groceries online, you order food online. It like comes within 2 days. You don't have to wait for anything. You don't have to go anywhere for anything. You really never have to leave your house if you don't want to. Like if you really don't want to, you could not leave your house and you'd probably be fine.
Yeah, that's the best part.
There's no fucking way that could happen here, or I don't know about elsewhere in the world, but like I feel like that's why life is so like monotone and bland there. That's why people have that experience in the States. Like people who grew up and lived there, like it's exciting from the outside, but it's just because it looks exciting from the outside.
I don't know. For me, I feel like particularly this semester, I don't know if it's the quarantine, COVID-induced living that we are presently living in, or I don't know, in general, maybe it's the winter, whatever. I feel like I just want to be in my bed 24/7 and like not get out of the studio. Because like it's the best way to live. You can vault everything now. Like you can vault groceries, whatever, you know. It's only 10 shekel delivery charge, but that's okay because it's groceries anyway. So.
But like that's how it felt at the beginning of lockdown, and then at some point it just like I need to get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to get the fuck out of here, and then all of a sudden you go out into the real world and you get anxiety about being around people and just like having to go out and shop again. Like not even like so much about the COVID aspect, but just about seeing people again. Like I never thought that would be a problem coming out of this. Like being so scared about like seeing people and like I forget what it's like to have social like pressure. You know, like having to. I feel like I have to dress up every time I leave my house now because it's like I'm leaving for, you know, and finally I get to go and people are seeing me again, so I have to dress up, I have to put on makeup. But it's all in your head. It's all in my head.
Well, we put on makeup just ourselves to hang around here too. Yeah, I just feel, but
I feel normal.
I feel like one of the biggest things that people don't give themselves enough credit for is yes, everyone's going through the pandemic. Yes, it's shitty for everyone, but like you have your own unique struggles that you're going through, and just by like existing, just by being around, you're navigating it. Like you're figuring it out and you're developing like coping mechanisms in this fucking absurd time. And like we're all figuring out our own ways. Sometimes they might not be great, but you have to go through that to figure out how to live during this.
Do you think like being like adaptive, like do you think it's better to remind yourself that it's temporary, or always like do you think it's better to be more realistic and be like this could have longer implications?
I think everything is situationally temporary, and you can't really worry about, I don't know, it's the same as like wondering if you're gonna die any day. You can't really live like that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's how I see it.
Because sometimes, like, I feel like when I'm in, like, a depressive episode or whatever you want to call it, and I remind myself it's COVID, like, it's okay to feel this way. And then I just go back to being depressed. So it's like, okay, I have an excuse to be depressed, so I'm just going to be depressed. Like, there's nothing to look forward to. Whereas if I thought about it differently, like, I feel like I could change that. But, like, I feel like if I keep reminding myself that it is COVID, then I'm just going to keep doing, like, the same shit that's not good for me.
Yeah, I feel like that could be, I don't know, that's just about what's triggering those feelings.
Yeah.
And what parts of that. And back to when you're saying it's temporary, this made me think of something that, like, how we measure our mental states and, like, the progress. And, like, yeah, I had a fucking shitty week. But, like, compared to 4 months ago when I was in a bad place, this shitty week would have been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
True. And even if you do slip up from that, just keeping it all in perspective, because, like, situation may be temporary, but you gotta live with yourself the whole time.
That's true.
That's true. I mean, I feel like when I was in India and I was just, like, spending my time locked into my room, just reading, writing, and, like, listening to music, not really doing anything particularly exciting. And then when I came here, you know, it was all of a sudden a lot of freedom, all of a sudden an urge to go out because, you know, I'm here, I can finally see a few people that I know, you know, like, it would be nice. And then I realized maybe I was just, like, being too anxious about the whole COVID situation and, like, putting myself into this bubble, which I did not want to be in. But I was putting myself into this bubble because I thought, you know, I have to sacrifice my, you know, schedule for someone else to survive because I don't want to be a COVID you know, whatever, passer to someone. And so when I came here, I realized, you know, wearing masks and going out, it's so much more, it's not like we have to stop the entire civilization to tackle this. Yeah. Like, I now
we had the opportunity.
Yeah, we did have the opportunity, but we all blew it.
But to be fair, like, I mean, like, it's not actually possible, but we could get rid of, like, if everybody stayed in their house, if everybody at, like, this moment in time just stayed in their house for 2 weeks,
yeah, that's what I thought I was doing. I was like, you know, but then I saw everyone. Yeah, everyone was going out. Everyone was going out. It was crazy, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how the countries that have taken those actions, like, people that actually were like, all right, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know the specific stats because I'm just so sick of all the corona stats right now. But there are countries who did this from the start, and now they're all chilling.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I don't know about here, but at least America, no one has that much, like, collective trust and collective faith in each other to want to do that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's always a bad idea that, you know, people politicize science. It's never good. It always leads to disputes because it's not the same. Politics is an ideology. We have science, which is facts. Which is...
The only thing with that is that it's, and at least through religious studies I've learned, it's all about, like, our framework for understanding. Like, for certain Eastern civilizations or whatever, we look back in history for people who weren't operating from the scientific method from the start. It's just a different way of viewing things. Like, science is totally facts and it shouldn't be politicized at all. But somehow people get different frameworks to be more present in their life. So they want to do this, and climate change is a myth, and this and that.
Yeah, true.
Because something
is more important than that.
That we find very irrational as more scientific people.
It could be the influence of esotericism, though, because everyone from the West would, you know, associate East with esoteric beliefs and practices and theories and everything esoteric. And so when you have something like esoteric existing within exoteric, there's always going to be a problem. Yeah. Because everyone's going to have a conflict of thought. And so, you know, this is what we're experiencing. And we have to experience this because it's only a product of globalization.
Yeah, completely. No, this is bringing me back to, like, with in the French invasion with Algeria, like, Houdin went to, like, present magic and was really just doing basic science to kind of, like, be like, look, I know science and you're fooled by it, haha.
So
exactly what you're saying.
What do you, like, if we pass globalization in, like, our whatever, in our evolution of humanity? What's beyond globalization?
I mean,
Like, what's
Elon Musk is gonna colonize
right?
Mars,
Mars,
so we
so
never
it's
know.
that.
We probably might go universal, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess no globalization means like equal understanding and like validity of cultures, which isn't gonna happen.
And after we enter like a new era, how, like, on average, how long do these eras last, and like how do we measure them as an era? Like, there's like the industrialization. Like, is that an era? Is the age of technologies? Is that the beginning of it? If there's like a separation of eras, like they all overlap each other, so then like, do they go into their own separate categories, or like is it all like
Exactly?
You know
It's
what I'm
the
trying to
issue.
say?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the issue of periodization, like separating history through certain periods, which is usually defined by Western intervention and imperialist intervention. So yeah, the way we're scaling all of that stuff that you're mentioning is based on like the West trying to fuck shit up. Yeah. So I don't know. How do you think of it if you're not thinking about it in periods that we define, like
through our evolution,
evolutions of cultures or certain ideas?
Because there was, I don't know, I feel like it was easier to pinpoint it, but now there's just so much. I guess it would just be the era of information. If anything, I feel like that's the umbrella category, because I feel like you can place everything underneath that.
Timelines are interconnected, so you would say that, you know, globalization more or less is a result of industrialization. You can say that. And so information would also be, you know, coming as a product of the other revolution we had in the past. So yeah, timelines are always interconnected. That's why we have like past, present, future. So it's like a wave, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But I don't know, politicizing science is just
Definitely.
like, it's just dumb. Purest sense, dumb.
It's just, what are you holding on to that you can't accept? Like, I don't know, just a form of science, just like something that's so important to your life.
Because we as like a community can only operate if we have facts that we all agree upon. If there's no consensus, there's no community. There's only individualism, which is kind of like a flaw of democracy, you know. If you're gonna have a democracy, everyone's gonna be individualists. You know, everyone's gonna have their own unique ideas. Everyone's gonna have their own beliefs, and they have the right to. You cannot deny them because it's in the Constitution. But when you know, like target, I don't know, it's just so messy when you think about politicizing something which has kind of, you know, developed a community around the world. If you're gonna dismantle the base, how is any building gonna stand upon it? It's just doesn't make any sense. And people don't understand it, you know. People will be like, Jesus is Lord, and you know, but like Kenneth Copeland, but like it's hilarious. I don't know.
Even more simplistically, just like basic human rights that are violated so frequently and so consistently. Like, how is this happening? How are these things still fucking happening in this world? How have we not learned how to be not bad, like, so not such terrible people? Like,
Sure.
Also, the more I meet people from around the world and like talk to them about their experiences in their own countries with whatever, like with their governments and police, and like compared to the United States, I'm always just reminded like I don't know, the things that I like as a liberal, like the things that I like passionate about, I guess, seem so minuscule sometimes to other people's like problems in other countries. I don't know, like just especially like the corruption in like East Europe, like now that I'm hanging out with Russians, like all of the shit that's going on there, like I had like, I mean, I had an idea, but like I had no fucking idea, like truly no fucking idea. I feel so ignorant, and like it feels so small, like what's going on in the States, but why is it such a big deal? Why is it so globalized? But like all of these other major fucking problems in other countries are like never talked about. Why is the United States so like, why is it so?
I think it's first because we already had the platform. We already were everywhere and like invaded like this. But now I think something in today's like political discourse. It's just who's the loudest and who's gonna say it the most.
Yeah.
To drill messages into people's brains, because that's how we like interpret everything now, from signs and like from what we're hearing all the time. Like obviously we're all talking about Corona all the time because it's there, it's everywhere. Exactly. Back to what you were saying about information completely. Yeah.
And just, I don't know, like, I feel like the United States was able to corrupt the spread of information better than anybody else could.
I feel like subtle not like overhaul, but like push their message in there.
But then again, even what I'm saying, like, I think that America is the most, like, corrupt, like, do I even fucking know? Because I don't know anything about other countries, like, you know, like...
Yeah, I think you can, I don't know.
Propaganda.
Yeah, you
like,
can just deem it in terms of, like, exposure to the first world.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I mean, people are pretty, like, aware of, I mean, for the most part, of, like, Facebook, for example, like, Mark Zuckerberg's bullshit, like, you know, if, what is it, that he's... What
dilemma?
No, yeah, but like what right now, what is he on? He's like, it's taking money for political ad, or he's not censoring political ads. He's not.
I think he's not. He wasn't censoring political ads for.
And that like he refuses to, because it's like he says it's like something, you know, it's the First Amendment, whatever, free speech, but like, is it really, is it free speech? Like, where do we cross the line, you know, when we're spreading information, you know? Like,
I feel like it's like the misinterpretation or misuse of information today, because like the way we use information has to do something with what we're dealing with right now. Because this is the age of information, as you said, right? And so if everything, you know, because we report like 1,000 cases of, like millions of cases of, you know, murder, rape, and so everyone is kind of desensitized.
Yeah.
When you overplay something, you know, everyone's already thinking, you know, these are basic human rights, they have to be there. But then you see this article that someone got mistreated or someone's in jail because they had like a marijuana on them, which is definitely doesn't make any sense, right?
What you were saying about desensitization, especially in the US, like within the Black Lives Matter movement, in terms of like graphic imagery, people reposting it and people not within the like BIPOC community just passing around these images, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just how are we holding life, how are we valuing it?
I was gonna say, I feel like the English language was like set up to be like, sometimes I feel like it was like set up to be used in the age of information, you know, like the way we have so many words to describe good and bad and just like basic things that in other, like basic words that in other languages, it's just, they maybe have 3 variations of it and that's it. Like I was talking about like how, like, you know, when I'm talking to other people that don't know English and I'm saying all these words and they just have, you know, like I'm saying spontaneous or whatever, and they're like, what is that? And I'm, you know, it's, I don't know, do you get what I'm saying? Like, all of these words that exist that like we just have so many like adjectives to describe the way things are, and like that's how it's used in propaganda, you know, and used in like the age of information to like, it's used against ourselves. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, linguistics is really interesting and how it's used, and like,
I don't know if that was a good
point.
No, there's a whole philosophy of language out there. You're right.
But I can't, like, Interesting.
Yeah.
That was a good run.
So much shit.
Should we, like, post a story to tell people to ask us questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That. Should we all do that?
And we're back.
Yeah. Is it loud enough?
I mean, hopefully it should be loud enough.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna clean really quick.
Okay.
Clean
what?
Like do the dishes and like put everything together.
Okay.
Because I know if I don't do it, I'm like in it.
I can do it. If you want to do it now, I mean, go for it.
I feel like Sheli has that vibe right now, which you have after you have like an intellectual conversation, so you kind of walk.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, I need to get my shit together. So I'm just gonna clean up everything.
Yeah, I don't know. At least it's like, I at least want it to be like organized to clean tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to be like a complete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna like put things away really quick.
Yeah.
I can put all this in there.
Yeah. Just for fun.
But no, art through diagnosis is so...
It's crazy. Well, the crazy thing is that I have this piece from, like, right when I became hypomanic, before I had, like, the manic episode that landed me in a hospital. And in it, like, there's, like, it's like a... I can show it to you. It's from a bit ago. It's from 2016. Okay, so here, it's like... You see she's sitting there with all of her thoughts on top of the city. And there are two bodies. Like, it's one sleeping this way, and the other sleeping the other way. Yeah. So, like, two bipolar, and, like, this is what I find, like, I'll do something, and then I find the meaning and how it connects to, like, where I am right now after, or while I'm doing it, like, with that one.
Do you feel like you're... Okay, which part of the bipolar spectrum benefits your art more? Is it the mania or the depression?
The thing with me is, although I have bipolar 1, I don't get the mania. Yeah, because I'm on meds, and I mean, still it fluctuates sometimes. It depends on so many factors, like what your lithium blood level is for me. But I get depressed. I get depressive episodes, definitely. Like, when I'm off balance, I'm not manic. Like, the signs of mania that I have manifest just in anxiety of, like, really having racing thoughts and stuff like this, and also, like, physical anxiety too. So I guess it's good that, like, the mania side of my bipolar that could land me in the hospital is, like, pretty consistently controlled.
Which is good, which is very
Which
good.
is definitely good, but through the depression, definitely, like, with writing poetry, which I don't do as much, but with painting too. Yeah, that's when it comes out. Which is, yeah. Like, I used to find that I could only, like, really make art late at night when I was, like, depressed and in my feelings and in my thoughts. More recently, it's just been, like, in the past month, like, this week, during the day again, and, like, I don't know. I think it's good that it's kind of, like, bringing my expression of my demons, like, into my everyday life. Kind of being comfortable with sitting with that, not letting it freak me out, but also, like, in that painting, like, having perspective.
Yeah, I feel like when I was in high school, I would find comfort in the idea of sadness. I would see sadness as a beauty, and so I would try to make art out of it.
Yeah.
And feel happy about being sad, because when you're sad, everything is hopeless. So you still want to find a meaning within that hopelessness.
Yeah.
And so maybe art is a medium in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like, being sad versus being numb. Like, when you're sad, you're still feeling. Sometimes when you're numb, you're not really feeling. That's maybe the scariest. Yeah.
It's hilarious people wanted us to talk about marijuana.
I know, yeah. People wanted us to talk about weed. For those on the podcast, we put up some questions on Instagram. Not many people responded, but
we got some pretty
check back.
Pretty good, topics.
Yeah.
Like weed, hashish. We have IDF. And we had some other ones too.
IDF. I'm not sure what else. I don't remember. Cooking, maybe. Weed. We can talk about weed. When did you start smoking weed?
When I turned 18.
Yeah?
Not like when I literally turned, like when I feel like when I got to Tel Aviv, when it was the point when I became a stoner.
Yeah.
And I think that would be I'm a stoner. It's a fact. I've been smoking. I love smoking. I love weed. It goes well with my body. It doesn't make me, it does make me lazy when I'm too high, but it's not as if it completely, destroys my ability to function in real life.
Yeah.
So I feel like weed is my drug.
All speaking of
Preference of my, I don't know, it goes well with my body.
Yeah.
Like, I could be so high and I could be sitting throughout classes and still be able to function properly, listen and, talk to professors and participate in classes. It's not as if it becomes demolished, because one of the signs of, addiction, and also the element of addiction where, you feel almost manipulated or, obsessed with the compound so much that you cannot get out of doing that compound. I don't feel the same on weed. On weed, I can still function. I can still, be writing papers, writing my own stuff, reading, listening to music, whatever, on me.
High functioning stoner.
Yeah.
True. It could be high functioning stoner. Yeah. I'm a high functioning stoner, guys. And it's chill. It's completely okay. It's 2020. Everything's, It's 2020. I don't think I need to go beyond that fucking.
Also, it's super normal here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do wonder though, like, you know, being a high functioning stoner, what does that even mean? And like, sometimes you get so used to the way that your work is that that's what you think is your best, but like all of a sudden you take a break from weed for a little bit and you're just like, oh, that's what it's like to be sober and like be productive, you know? Like, I feel like there are other, you know, it is, you can be productive when you're a stoner, but it's different. It's very different, and like I think you have to remind yourself that like you can be a productive stoner, but I think you should like know what tasks are really good for you when you're stoned and what tasks are not. Especially when it comes to work, I think too. Like your job or whatever it is, you know, you can do your job while you're high. And I'm not saying you should like. I want to say, like, I don't think you shouldn't get high at work. I definitely think that's a fun experience. But I don't think it should be a regular thing because I don't think it's what it's meant to be for. It's not meant to be part of your everyday life. It's supposed to be your escape. So like if you have to be a part of reality at some point, especially when it comes to your livelihood, you know?
Yeah, I agree on this end. There are the medical benefits for some people with like chronic diseases. Also with me with epilepsy, like CBD isn't marijuana, but like I've been prescribed CBD before. Like it's a pretty common epilepsy treatment, which is interesting. So to see like it does help people and with anxiety and with like eating disorders as well to eat, and just a lot of other things it can help. I don't know. Definitely need to like know when though. I couldn't go to work high. Yeah.
Also like microdosing shrooms too, I've heard, like I mean I knew it was a thing, but like now it's really becoming like they're actually, you know, aren't they?
Yeah, it's already. Did you hear Oregon has legalized all drugs?
Really? What is all drugs though?
Everything. So the way this model works is very simple. It's functioning in Portugal at the moment.
I
don't
know this.
Okay, the way it basically functions is that, you know, you legalize all the drugs, and so instead of, you know, putting people into jail for, you know, their drug criminal offense, you get them into addiction centers, you give them a write-up note or like a fine, you know, at best. So that kind of, you know, raises this thing that war on drugs has failed. It has failed miserably, it's not working. So it's like they're doing the opposite of the present model we have. And the results are fascinating, at least, you know, what we see in Portugal. And I feel like what's going to happen in the future if, you know, people are careful about these substances, of course. I think Oregon has done definitely one of the best things ever.
It's interesting.
Legalizing everything. And so it's your choice completely and upon you what you do to yourself. It's no longer a third-party entity entering into your world.
What I always thought was interesting is like nonprofit organizations giving out you know, free clean needles to people on the streets, you know, instead of I feel like that's also like people look down on that and they're like, why are you what's the word,
providing,
ableizing. I don't know. It's not really incentivizing, but maybe some people see it that way.
It's maybe aiding the addiction.
I mean, in the first place, like the medical system, like with Oregon, now you're mentioning this, like statewide institutions of the medical system and government run fail us very deeply, and addicts, and also like it's hard. I don't know. I've like have addiction in my family, and I've also like I went to a mental health place that was meant for like people dealing with substance abuses, but it got to the mental health route. So I wasn't dealing with a substance abuse problem, but like the therapists there were really good at finding roots for things. But what I found was how like I don't know, just how it starts with people and how commonly it's from people being prescribed opioids and stuff like this. I saw that in this facility. And just, I don't know, the dependence, it's tough, and the solution doesn't seem accessible besides this, but I don't know how it'll go.
No, opioids is definitely...
I mean, I think just Like, I do think psychedelic experiences really change someone's perspective, especially when if it's regulated. Like, I think it could have amazing results, and we won't. But also, again, you know, like, all these conspiracy theories that they're, like, you know, hiding the truth, and that's why the pharmaceutical companies exist to
Capitalize.
to capitalize, and exactly. And so, I don't know, sometimes I don't want to buy into that bullshit, but, like, at the same time, like, we have all the resources and the information there, the studies have been done, and, like, it's just, like, still just, like, snails moving, like, just nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck.
There's a good Patriot Act episode on
Yeah,
opioids.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to know more. Yeah. Good show.
Mm-hmm.
Good show.
Not
yeah,
an
but
ad.
it's hilarious how, you know, people were using heroin heavily during the war days, and
And cocaine. Oh my gosh, the Nazis' use of drugs was crazy.
Freud and, you know, cocaine was a love affair, a chemical romance, or whatever you want to call it. A psychoanalytic chemical romance.
Well, I think I don't know, maybe this is common knowledge and I'm just stupid, but, like, I learned in Techno-Utopia that literally everything that exists was for military purpose. Literally everything that exists in our society, every object, everything that exists, the way that it's innovated is because it was used for military purpose. Like, if you really just think about it, just think of an object and it had, like, some purpose that was used for it, like, there's some reason, there's some, like, I don't know, it's really interesting.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna look it up.
Techno-Utopia was a trippy class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds cool from what I'm hearing so far. Yeah.
Yeah, it's based around counterculture and kind of also covers the rise of psychedelics back in the 60s with Leary and everyone. Yeah, it was an interesting class.
I took a youth culture class once. That was interesting.
I think I do have that class next semester.
Yeah. School.
Yeah, that's our university.
Yeah. I like school.
I missed going to Caffeinetto, man. But someone was telling me this week that, you know, Caffeinetto is back open and people are coming in.
Really?
Yeah, we can go back to the place.
We can go there for a day to work. Oh, I have to burp. I'm single.
I don't know, someone said we should talk about hashish, but have you tried hashish here?
I don't know if I've tried it. I don't think so.
I have.
Hashish here is mediocre.
But I did it when my tolerance was super, super, super high, so, like, I feel like I didn't really get it. Like, I was smoking way too much for way too long at the time, and I wasn't even getting high, you know?
Yeah, because hashish is more of, like, a mellow high.
Yeah, and I really didn't pick it up. Oh, yeah, I was gonna make nachos.
Oh, yeah, nachos. Yum. We could talk about food and cooking. You don't like to cook.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I'm weird with food. Also, I'm letting this out there, you know. I don't know, I've just always been weird with food. I'm more of a liquid person, if that makes sense. Like, I would keep drinking throughout the day and not feel bad about it, but not like alcohol, just like drinking in any liquid sense, you know, like water, coffee, tea, beer, anything. I'm more of a liquid person. Or juice. I love juices. I feel like that's how I kind of, like, you know, balance out the missing the solid part out. But with solids, it's like, I don't know, I've always just stuck to the specific meal type. Maybe because I've always been lazy and, like, kind of weird about trying new food, but I don't know. But not from time to time I try.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
No, food is definitely weird and definitely hard, and, like, body image stuff is definitely something that I think most teenagers go through. But I don't know, I think I've struggled with it, but it's just trying to figure out what makes you feel good.
True.
What can give you the energy you need. Drugs. Shelley said drugs. That's something.
I don't know. Remember, Shelley, we had a friend who used to drink Coca-Cola all the time to substitute water.
Yeah, you need water sometimes.
Yeah, bro, drink water, please.
Literally a diet of Coca-Cola and Marlboro Reds.
Yes. So there are people like that too, you know. There's all kinds of people.
How do they live?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
How do you not just, like, have headaches all the fucking time?
It's a really good question. Have you ever had vertigo?
What's that?
Vertigo is like, it's something to do with your I don't know the science. It's something to do with balance in your ear canal or your something like this. And it's like, when I've had it before, it's like you're sitting and like you see this like spinning. You see something next to you spinning and falling. Mm-hmm. Or you think you see something moving, and like when you turn your head you get dizzy and you get really nauseous.
I don't know, I feel like I get I don't know how to describe it exactly, but sometimes when I would get up real fast,
dizzy.
You know, I would just like go a bit like, you know, everything
See
would
stars.
get like a bit black and stuff. And it used to happen before too when I would smoke weed excessively.
Yeah, same.
I would go completely black for like 2 seconds, and I'm just like, what the hell? And then I come back, you know, and it's so trippy.
Yeah.
That's when you know you have to stop, kind of, you know.
Yeah, when it's not fun anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, it hurts